welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we have your career and finances prediction for the year of 2025, which I am so excited to get into and to do this prediction for you. But before we dive into it, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Skillshare, who are kindly sponsoring today's video. If you have not heard of Skillshare before, they are essentially a huge online learning platform full of classes upon almost any subject that you can think about, and they are taught by real professionals. And personally, as somebody who owns a business, I have used Skillshare tons and tons of times for learning new skills and improving myself when it comes to marketing or photography or video editing or setting up lighting in my videos or anything of the sort. Skillshare has been such a valuable resource for me to learn, grow, and improve myself, but also not only just on a business level, I've also used Skillshare to improve on a personal level. I really love their learning path, which is all on journaling. If you don't know what a learning path is, it is a bunch of curated classes upon a particular subject that build upon each other so that you can really master a certain skill. And the reason why I really loved this journaling learning path is because it goes in depth on how to really journal and also gives you these journaling prompts that help with self-reflection and also help with defining your vision for the future. So I loved taking this learning path. I think it's so perfect and essential for right now as we're stepping into a new year. This is the perfect learning path to take, in my opinion, because it really helps you define your vision for your future and do some self-reflection on your past as well. So I'd highly recommend checking that one out. But no matter what it is that you are interested in, Skillshare likely has a class on the topic, whether you're interested in cooking or opening up a business or learning more about arts and crafts or all types of other things. Skillshare likely has a class for you. And Skillshare also has one of the best offers, which is why I love working with them so much. So the first 500 people to use the link down below in the description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, which you can take so many classes within 1 month. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that and checking that out. And again, the first 500 people to use that link down below in the description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So I hope you check them out, and I know that you're gonna love them just as much as I do. They are such a great platform, and thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right back into today's pick a card reading. Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we have your career and finances prediction for the year of 2025. So if you are curious what you can expect happening within your career, whether you're in school or whether you are a business owner or whether you are looking for a job, whatever situation that you are in within your career, we're going to be getting information for your highest good at this time, all about the different things that you can expect transpiring and unfolding through the year of 2025, as well as we are going to be looking at your finances and all the things that you can expect with that through the next year. So I bring in information for your highest good at this time. I connect with guides and angels of 100% pure white light, and I use the tarot cards and the oracle cards to bring through the different messages that are meant for you. And how this video works is I have 4 different groups in front of me, and you are going to use your intuition to choose which pile you are the most called towards. Your intuition knows exactly which energies are within each of these groups, because there's going to be different themes going on within each of these piles. And depending on which one you are intuitively drawn towards, your intuition again knows exactly which pile is going to resonate with you and hold all of the relevant information that will reveal all the things that you need to know that will be transpiring and happening through the year of 2025. The way that you intuitively choose a pile is your intuition speaks very quickly, and usually it's your first initial gut reaction that you have. So perhaps you saw the thumbnail and maybe there was one pile that stood out amongst the rest, or when you clicked on this video, maybe you were visually drawn to one of these groups just right off the bat. Maybe your eyes just darted to one of the piles, or you felt just a magnetic pull towards one of them. But if you are not visually tapping into one of the groups, another thing that you can do to tap into your intuition is to use your hand and glide it over each of the piles and just sense what kind of energy that you feel as your hand glides over each of the groups. And the way that your intuition is going to either speak to you is by giving you a magnetic pull towards one of the groups, or one of them will just feel a little bit different than the rest. Maybe there's going to be a more potent energy that you feel behind one of the groups as you're gliding your hand over it. Or there's going to be like a hot or cold sensation or anything of the sort. There's just going to be a different kind of sensation that you get within your hand, and that again is your intuition speaking to you. And don't question it, don't doubt it. Your intuition knows exactly which pile is meant for you, and your intuition usually speaks very quickly. So that is how this works. That's how you use your intuition. That's how you begin tapping into it, begin developing a connection with your intuition. And then there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box, as well as the description box, so that you can easily navigate through this video and skip right ahead to your personal prediction all about your career and finances for the year of 2025. So I'm so excited that you joined me here today. And if you want a close-up of the crystals in order to just get a closer connection to the crystals that are on each group, I know some of you like to choose with crystals. So on group number 1, we have this beautiful Malachite crystal. So if you find yourself drawn to this crystal or to group number 1, that is going to be your reading. Group number 2, we have this gorgeous Selenite wand. So if you find yourself drawn to the Selenite wand or group number 2, then that is going to be your pile. Group number 3, we have this beautiful piece of Thulite. So if you find yourself drawn to the Thulite or to group number 3, then that is going to be your pile and your reading. And then group number 4, we have this gorgeous piece of Sunset Aura Quartz. So if you find yourself drawn to this crystal or to group number 4, then that is going to be your reading. So those are the different pile options. Those are the different groups that we have for today's video. You can pause the video, take as much time as you would like in order to find the pile that you're the most intuitively called towards. However, I just want to point out that usually your intuition speaks very quickly and very fast, and usually it's like the first initial gut reaction that you get. And again, there's timestamps linked down below, so you can easily skip right ahead to your personal reading. Occasionally, you may find yourself drawn to multiple piles, and that is totally okay. That just means there's multiple messages for you within today's video, but most of the time your intuition is going to guide you towards one of them, and one of them is going to stand out more amongst the rest, and that's because that one resonates with you the most, and that is your intuition calling you towards that group. However, if you do find yourself drawn to multiple, then you would just go ahead and watch both of those, because that would mean that both of those piles hold relevant information for you. So that is how this video works. Thank you so much for joining me here. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into today's pick a card reading. All right, my group number 1s, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so starting with your Astro dice, let's see what we get for your career. So we have Mars in Pisces in the 5th house. Ooh, okay, so first off, the 5th house deals with creativity and the things that you are ultimately really passionate about. So for the year of 2025 for you, I see you being really motivated and also very creative and imaginative. Pisces is the zodiac sign that is extremely creative, and being in the 5th house as well, this is creating a boost of all the things you are passionate about. Maybe some of you have a higher calling this year of something that you want to pursue. Maybe you have a creative project that you want to bring to life. Maybe you're thinking about pursuing something in your career that is more creative and more aligned to what you are ultimately passionate about. Or some of you may have already been established in a career that evokes a lot of your creativity. But I am also seeing more freedom when it comes to your career and when it comes to your creativity and your own kind of independence within your career. So if some of you are wanting to pursue something like that or just expand more into your creativity, this is going to be a beautiful year for that. Mars is the planet of action, and it's also a planet that is full of tons of passion and fiery energy. Okay, being in Pisces, I feel like this is really unlocking deeper ideas, deeper creativity than you've had prior. And also being in the 5th house too, it's just unlocking so much of this creativity. But it brings such a productivity type of energy, and it brings such a driving force to get ahead, to take action, and get to a further place. Mars is also like the breaker of obstacles. Mars is also the warrior. So I'm almost seeing your warrior energy coming out of being like really motivated and driven. Like that's how you could look at Mars. It's just very motivated and driven, especially when it comes to your own independence, maybe being in the spotlight a little bit more. And Pisces can also be very connected to the media or the arts. So there could be something within the media or the arts that you're looking into this year, or there could be opportunities coming up that allow you to expand more through the arts and the media. So with that being said, we're also going to take one of these cards to get the overall theme and energy of the year of 2025 for you in regards to your finances and career. But I'm definitely also seeing, if any of you do have like a creative side pursuit, I see you making money that way this year. I see a lot of motivation around, okay, I want that to be my foundation, my forever thing. So I'm seeing that being something that you're really expanding this year. And let's see what we get here for your overall energy. Okay, we have a couple different cards that actually wanted to come out for you. So we're gonna go with it. So we have the Hierophant, we have Death, we have Temperance, and we have the Devil that wanted to come out for you as your overall themes and energies of this year. This is a lot. The fact that we had multiple cards come out for you, this is quite a powerful year for you. The Hierophant, for one, talks about that we are going into higher learning this year. So some of you might be inclined to read books, take courses or classes. Maybe some of you are still in school for something, or perhaps you are just interested in improving and learning new skills that can just take you to the next level. That's what the Hierophant is all about. And it also usually indicates that there's someone, or maybe even multiple people, that we kind of look up to, that we're really inspired by. And those people might be really inspiring you to step up into more of your potential and more of your greatness. One other aspect of the Hierophant is occasionally it can indicate being the teacher as well. So for some of you, if you are looking for ways to make money, perhaps you are called towards teaching, or telling people what it is that you know and using that as your creativity. So there could be something along the lines of that for some of you. But for the most part, I am getting you doing higher learning new skills that are actually going to help you expand and turn more of your creativity into more of your income. So that's really coming through. We also have the Death card here, which indicates a shift or a major change within your career, and also maybe some sort of metamorphosis or transition. The Death card always indicates that part of ourselves we are leaving behind. And when we're talking about regards to your finances and career, this would indicate that something is no longer serving you in that area. So it could be like old structures that you've had with your finances, and you're kind of like, that's not really serving me anymore. I'm gonna go around and kind of revise this, change it, and have a complete rebirth here when it comes to your finances and career. So there's definitely gonna be some big changes that you're gonna be implementing this year. This could also be the ending of an old chapter for you within your career and the birth of something new. Temperance also indicates that we are balancing or sometimes even juggling two different things at once. So perhaps this could be schooling plus doing your creative pursuits. This could be having a particular job, but then wanting to transition things to more of your own independent sort of creative pursuits. Temperance can also indicate having more of a work-life balance, especially if you've felt that there was an imbalance there. And when it comes to all of the new things that you're going to be doing, the creative pursuits that you're going to be moving towards. This would also indicate a nice blending of like what was supporting you before, but blending it into kind of your vision of where you're going now. You might even be blending in new skills, right? Because we had the Hierophant. You might even be blending in completely new skills this year and implementing them into your career and into your finances. And you're going to notice that that ends up being really lucrative for you. And then you're going to get entirely new results this year because of that. So whatever it is that you are learning, whatever it is that you're being called to learn, and the skills that you're going to be growing into, those are going to really help you create new outcomes this year and also create more balance. I'm seeing you being more balanced within your time, your schedule, and your resources. And then the Devil card coming up as well. There has been old limitations that perhaps you've had on yourself that are going to really pop up this year in order for you to become aware of them and learn how to break free of them. Because there's certain constraints or restrictions that you have felt financially or within your career or within your freedom, within those aspects of your life that you can feel like you want to break out of, that you can feel like you want to break free from, because perhaps it's not making you happy, it's not giving you what you want, and again, it's just oppressing you and limiting you in certain ways. So this is a year where you're also going to be facing more of that in order for you to free yourself. Because the Devil, when it shows up, it calls us to seek more freedom, which really makes sense with Mars being in Pisces in the 5th house. This is really a year of you breaking old obstacles and being really, really motivated to ascend, being really motivated to create change and create breakthroughs and to be that inner warrior that overcomes all of this stuff. So that is what we have right off the bat for some of those major themes that are going to be overarching through the year of 2025. And let's get into some more specifics with our tarot cards and see what else we can pick up on for your finances and career through this next year. So let's see, my group ones, we also have the Two of Wands being reversed. So there's a plan that you've had perhaps brewing in the background for some time, or a thought that you've had where you've maybe wanted to expand. But it's interesting when the Two of Wands is reversed, it indicates that we've had like apprehension when it comes to fully pursuing it, fully diving into it. And maybe that's why the Devil was coming up, because it seems like in the past, perhaps you've stopped yourself, or there was like external circumstances that felt like they were stopping you from fully stepping outside of your comfort zone and moving into your bigger callings, into your next chapter, into your next callings. So the Two of Wands coming up reversed is really making me feel like this is the year where it's really asking you, okay, are you going to take the leap of faith? Are you going to fully leave behind what's no longer serving you? Or are you going to be like the Temperance and kind of balance them both a little bit in order to have that sense of security, but also move towards moving your energy in the direction that you actually want to be in? Because Two of Wands being reversed can also indicate that we are doing that blending situation where we're not fully leaving behind the foundation that we've had, but we are still also putting energy towards something new here. So let's see what else we get for you. We also have, so the Hierophant's coming up for you twice, which whenever this happens in a reading, it's because this is a very prominent energy for you. And I see you studying, I see you learning, I see you implementing new information. So perhaps there's a big goal or dream that you have, but I'm also getting a message that some of you have not fully pursued it yet because you still feel like there's more to learn. There's more that you could develop and grow into prior to fully implementing and pursuing something. So I do see you really increasing skills. And I'm actually seeing this being something that you're doing for the first quarter or the first 6 months of the year, where you are going to be diving into more learning and preparing stuff. This could even be you preparing things behind the scenes and really planning something. Planning, creating, doing, but it's something where it's like, it's not fully revealed yet. It's something that you're sort of working on behind the scenes. And this could be a creative project that you're working on behind the scenes, developing more skills for, or again, just creating and planning in general. And I see that like through the rest of the year, it's going to be calling you to kind of really put yourself out there after you have completed whatever this phase was, whether it was learning, schooling, preparing, planning, or building something behind the scenes, and getting prepared to actually be like, okay, here it is, here's what I've been working on, here's this new thing. So let's see what else we get here for you. We also have the Six of Pentacles being reversed. So one thing I'm also seeing here is that, so the Six of Pentacles, when it's upright, can indicate that we have a really equal balance of like income versus expenses. When it is reversed, it can indicate that perhaps we've felt either like we need to work really hard in order to make the money that we desire, or sometimes we feel like other things are imbalanced. It can also be where we feel like we are owed money in a certain way, or other things are kind of like imbalanced in that area. Another thing that I'm seeing for you is that you are going to be learning and studying and figuring out ways to balance this. This can also be balancing other resources, such as your energy, your time. Any way in which those were like imbalanced before, this is your year of finding ways and learning ways to rebalance those. We also have the Sun coming up reversed, and actually the Sun card, whether it's reversed or upright, it is still shining to its fullest light. The Sun is always shining to its fullest light. When it's reversed, it can indicate that there is like things that we're still figuring out, but the Sun brings happiness, prosperity, and confidence. So I'm also seeing that this year, you're gonna be removing some of the clouds that were in the way of you being confident in yourself when it comes to career and finances. You're gonna be getting rid of some of those old clouds that were sort of standing in the way of your confidence. Also, the Sun being reversed is also giving me this feeling that there is something that you might be really excited about, but you might be hiding it from other people during the first part of the year. Perhaps even through most of the year for some of you, depending on when you're ready to fully be like, okay, here's what I've been working on. But the Sun being reversed is making me feel like there's clouds in front of the Sun, which to me says that there's something that you're really excited about, but either you are working on it more in private, so other people can't see it, that's why the clouds are in the way, or it might even be that you are just not fully ready to be like, okay, here's what I'm doing. So again, those clouds are sort of in the way. Maybe you're even lacking clarity on something fully, but that's going to get revealed more and more throughout the rest of the year as the year unfolds. This is awakening more of your confidence and also indicating that there could be something that you're working on a little bit more behind the scenes. So let's get one more tarot card here, and then we're going to get into our oracle cards. So a bit more about your career and finances. We also have the Moon. This year is also calling you to come outside of your comfort zone and to perhaps pursue something that you haven't pursued before. Or it's interesting, we have the Moon and the Sun. The Moon is upright, the Sun is reversed. There's almost like an aspect of you where you are just preparing to fully embrace like a new chapter, to fully embrace a rebirth, but it's calling you to really come outside of your comfort zone to fully pursue this and do this. I really see that some of you guys are working on something more behind the scenes, more in private. And it has some really great potential, and I feel like you're going to be learning more about how to really believe in yourself. You're going to be learning more of these new skills that are going to really help increase your level of success and moving into pursuing those creative endeavors, or at least pursuing something that's going to make you truly passionate. But it's really going to come in your belief in yourself to know and break through old limiting beliefs. Because another thing that's coming up here, the Devil card can indicate limiting beliefs, and when we have the Six of Pentacles being reversed, we might have a belief that it's hard to make money doing what we love, or it's going to take a lot of work, or that it won't be lucrative. We might have limiting beliefs that have actually been stopping us from fully pursuing that path. So this is going to be something that you're going to be overcoming. And I see you doing some really deep learning and then looking at the fact that, you know what, there are people who are really prosperous doing what they love. And that can be me too. And maybe I need to break out of my own limitations of what I'm capable of. Maybe I need to break out of my own limitations about what's possible for me. So I'm also seeing you breaking through those types of limitations as well. That's going to allow you to step into more freedom. So let's see what else we get for you here. My group ones, let's see more about your finances and career for 2025. Woo, that one flew right out. So we have nature. I'm actually seeing you getting back to more of what is your actual true inner calling. Because when we think about nature has certain instincts, nature has certain callings, and I'm seeing that you're going to get more into your natural self, your inner nature, honoring your inner nature. Something else that I'm also feeling from this too is reconnecting to what truly inspires you and having more of a balance when it comes to meeting your needs, but also living a life of like fun and passion. Because maybe part of you is realizing like, I was not put on this earth to like just work, right? I'm also put on this earth to live. And what is a life that I want to create, that I really want to live? So nature is making me feel that type of energy for you in 2025. And let's see what else we get here. We also have share wisdom. So yes, learning from other people. You might also find yourself networking and connecting to others who have already done what you want to do, or connecting with others who are on a similar path as you, where you're going to be learning, bouncing ideas off of this person. Perhaps even there's going to be collaborations coming through, or other ways in which you are going to be growing your skills through the networking and connections that you are making this year. But this one very much also connects with growing those skills, learning, studying. This could also be you sharing your wisdom again, just like I was kind of picking up on a little bit, that maybe some of you have a calling to even teach, and that would be this sharing wisdom. Maybe some of you are already in something like that, and perhaps that's going to be a theme that's continuing through 2025, is like this teacher energy or this higher learning energy, and that's going to be continuing through. So let's see, what else do we have here for 2025? That one just like, woo, wanted to come right out. So we have dream sweet, sleep deep. I think certain things that were stressing you out before in the previous years, this year you're gonna be able to put some of those things to rest and figure out solutions, things that were giving you anxiety before, things that were kind of just, again, stressing you out, or all of that. You're gonna be able to put those things to rest. You're finding the solution to those things to where they're no longer bothering you, no longer giving you anxiety. I'm also hearing that if some of you have had like such a crazy schedule where it was hard for you to get the proper amount of sleep, maybe your sleep schedule was all kinds of whack. 2025, I also see you bringing more balance to that. And let's see, what else do we have for you, my group ones, for 2025, I feel like this one wants to come out. Fertility. This is when we are bursting with ideas and creativity. So in regards to fertility, when it comes to finances and career, we are bursting with ideas and creativity. And on top of that, when we think about something that's fertile, the intentions that we're planting, we're actually feeling really excited about them, and we're feeling a lot of like potential behind all of the things that we are planning for. So the ideas that you do get this year, you're actually going to notice that those ideas really have the potential to bring more prosperity. If you think about like fertile soil and your ideas are like seeds, it's like you're planting them in fertile soil because you're learning about, okay, what's going to really make me more prosperous? You're learning about what's going to really benefit you, be good for you in the long run, and bring you the kind of more abundance and prosperity that you're seeking. So that is another thing, is like you're really learning what is the fertile soil that I'm going to plant these ideas in, that I'm going to grow these ideas with, that I'm going to develop these ideas with. So that's really coming through here as well. And let's get into another oracle deck here. So my group ones, what else do we have for your year? Let's see, my group ones, what else do we have for your finances and career of 2025? We have the collective. Okay, so collaborations and networking is really coming through again. Collaborations and networking, connecting to people who are like-minded, who are on a similar path, who are gonna offer inspiration, growth, wisdom, learning. This says all is connected, collective growth, and being supported. So also the support that you are possibly wanting or hoping for this year, like if you need support with certain things I'm also hearing that for some of you, if you need help from other people with different expertises, different skills, this is also coming through for you as well. So if you've needed certain assistance in your life when it comes to like developing an idea to its fullest potential, you're going to be finding the exact right connections that help you make your vision come to life. So there might actually be certain collaborations or certain people that you end up working with or learning from or utilizing your skills, sharing your expertise with. And for those of you that are wanting to attract more clients in your life, if you need clients, this is really prosperous for expanding your clientele, expanding your business through word of mouth or, things like that. Then we also have the card of abundance coming through. So your true nature, gratitude, and commitment to goals. This is a year that I do see you being more committed than ever. And I do see you making more progress than ever before, where you are like really committed to bringing your vision to life and connected to just feeling like you're in the right place, just feeling like things are getting more into alignment. And even when doubts come up, because when the devil is here, it can indicate that sometimes we get doubtful of our path, or sometimes we get doubtful of what's possible for us. But something that I'm really hearing from guides and spirit is, even though sometimes you might feel lost, sometimes you might feel like, oh, I just need some form of surety. I need some form of reassurance that I'm doing the right things and that I can get to my goal. This is truly coming down to your belief and your faith in yourself, because the Hierophant is also a card of faith and belief. What do you believe and what are you faithful in? Are you faithful in limitation being the top force, or are you more faithful in if there is a will, there is a way? Because Mars is very much if there's a will, there's a way. Mars will break through any obstacle. Okay, so what are you putting more of your faith in? Are you putting more of your faith in restriction and lack of ability? Or are we going to put our faith in our ability to find ways and find solutions to anything, because that's going to be how you navigate this year. And that's just a little piece of advice that I feel like my guides wanted to bring and your guides wanted to bring to you right now. So the moon also talks about that as like kind of navigating the unknown and needing to trust and believe in yourself. So when you notice that doubts do come up, it's going to be really important to stay connected to your vision, to stay connected. And look, it even says your true nature. And then we had the nature card here. So there's also a message about honoring your true nature, not getting off of your path of what it is that you genuinely desire, of what it is that you genuinely want. And even if that's not fully clear, because we did have the sun being reversed here, even when that's not fully clear, still trusting and navigating, let me figure out who I am, let me figure out what's right for me, rather than feeling like I need to revert or settle for something that's not in alignment, right? So following your true nature, what feels in alignment, what feels creative and good for you to pursue, because I'm getting that there's just tons of creativity blooming for you this year, but it's about really believing in yourself, trusting yourself, even when things are unknown, because a lot of paths, as we're pursuing them, there's a lot of unknown because we're stepping into unlimited potential, right? Anything could happen. It depends how we choose to navigate it. So if you're choosing to navigate things with, I'm going to find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to have the breakthroughs. I'm going to break through any obstacle. I'm going to follow my true nature of my true calling, and I'm going to trust and believe in myself. When you go from that energy and you pursue things from that energy and you find like-minded people who are also going to support you, who are also going to light you up and encourage you and help you, people that you can connect with like that, when you are surrounded by people like that, that's going to help keep you more in alignment, right? Because we do tend to take on the perspectives of the people that we're surrounded by. And so when we're really surrounded by people that love and support us, we feel that energy and it's palpable, right? When we are surrounded by people who are constantly telling us like, oh, just, get a job that maybe you don't like, but it's stable and secure. Like, maybe we have people that tell us that. But depending on who we're surrounded by most, depending on the thoughts that we feed the most, will kind of really determine the power or where we're giving our power, right? So this is a year where I feel like you're going to be giving it more to abundance. You're going to be giving it more to surrounding yourself with like-minded people, really honoring those very fertile ideas that you have. But this comes through trusting in those. So that's a big message that wanted to come through from Spirit right now, is trusting all of that. Trusting yourself, trusting your vision, trusting your true nature and your inner callings, trusting that you were not given a calling that wasn't meant to be fulfilled, right? You weren't born with these callings for the universe and the world just to be like, haha, like, sucks to be you. No, you were given these callings because you were meant to create them. You were meant to pursue them. You were meant to have that journey this lifetime. Okay, that's why we're given callings. The universe is part of you, and the universe is speaking through your soul is speaking through you about what is meant for you. So that was a whole tangent. I'm going to restart my camera really quick and get into our last oracle deck. Okay, perfect. So let's see any last messages for my group ones. Let's see what we get. Ooh, and then those ones I randomly flipped over. So I feel like that was a purposeful thing. So anyway, destruction is the way to transformation. So destroying old limitations, destroying old belief systems that are no longer serving you. Destruction is the way to transformation. Then we have trust is a muscle. Allow yourself to let go and know that what is coming is meant for you. What is meant for you is coming. Trust is a muscle. This is about trusting in yourself, which is the tangent we just went off on. Then we also have regain what they took from you. So if they stole your confidence, if other people stole your confidence or made you suppress your light or anything like this, regain what they took from you. It is still your right to gain it back. And if somebody made you feel less than, if somebody made you feel like you couldn't do something, well, regain it. Take back whatever they took from you, right? Then we have whatever you decide, it will be the right decision. Trust in yourself and your own decisions. We have I create my reality every day, which is so true. By the choices that you make and that you're choosing to make, the thoughts that you're choosing to feed, you are creating your reality every day. Then we also have things are always changing, shifting, and evolving. What is true today may not be true tomorrow. So remember that just because your truth might have been like, oh, limitation, my truth might have been that I'm not confident, my truth might have been that I don't have this skill. What is true today might not be true tomorrow. Tomorrow you can be an entirely new version of you where you're like, you know what, I am confident in myself and I'm gonna freaking break through and I have willpower and I have energy and I'm gonna, whoo, you know? Things are always changing and you can choose to step into that. Then we also have our last card here. Oop, I'm holding it upside down. The more you focus on the present moment, the more you align with your inner peace. So instead of worrying about the future, instead of questioning the future, realize the more that you focus on the present moment and focus on whatever choices I make in the present moment will actually determine my future. So that's how you get more in alignment with your inner peace. That's how you get more in alignment with the future that you want to create, is by realizing that you're creating it by whatever you choose in the present moment, whatever you choose to feed and focus on and give power to in the present moment. So that is your messages for the year of 2025. There was some advice that came through by the end there, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of learning, a lot of new connection this year, and a lot of stepping more into creative pursuits and having this willpower to fully dive into that. It looks like the beginning of the year is you planning and kind of transitioning, because temperance can kind of be that blending and that transitioning. And it looks like by the end of the year, you're possibly going to be really like living in this more creative pursuit and having that be your full position if it's not already, or at least there might be something that you're working on the side that you are also going to be now implementing and blending into whatever it is that you already do, which I think is going to be incredibly exciting. It looks like it's going to be a very creative year for you, and learning how to kind of just expand your passion more into your career, to get more passionate about it, to get more creative, and all of those different types of things. So thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I am sending you all so much love. Be sure to check out the other readings for the year, such as the 2025 love prediction if you're curious about that, and then also the 2025 general prediction, or all the other things. Be sure to stick around for those if you're curious about them. And until next time, bye. All right, my group number 2 is if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so beginning with your Astro Dice, let's see what your year is going to hold for you. So we have Neptune in Scorpio in the 12th house. So the 12th house is a lot of our inner world, and it's also a place where it's full of creativity and imagination, but it also deals with the subconscious, and it can indicate like brand new ideas, but it can also indicate like a spiritual path or like a higher calling, wanting to be of service in a bigger way, or being really interested in the spiritual things, especially since we have Neptune being in Scorpio in the 12th house. I am getting that some of you within your career, you might have a calling to have some sort of bigger purpose or bigger impact. Maybe this year you are wanting to dive more into a spiritual type of path, or perhaps you're just wanting to feel like your career and your life purpose serves people in a deep and meaningful way. Like, that's something that I'm really feeling from this, is like you're wanting to serve people in a deep and meaningful way. Neptune and the 12th house both talk about like creativity. They can both talk about the media as well, especially Neptune. Like, Neptune is very much about the media, but it's also about imagination. It's also a very dreamy type of planet. And Since we have this one coming up for your career, I wouldn't be surprised if this year of 2025, you get really dreamy when it comes to your career. Maybe you start imagining completely new types of things, new types of ideas. Maybe it's a time of unlocking your creativity. Maybe it's a time of just unlocking your mind in a bigger way, imagining new possibilities for yourself, brainstorming new possibilities. Being in Scorpio as well, it's kind of like you're uncovering deeper aspects of you. And I feel like this is a very explorative year internally for you, because you're exploring, how can I feel more that my career and my life path is having a meaningful and valuable impact on other people. Like perhaps that's something that you're really wanting to do this year. I'm also just getting some kind of feeling that some of you are wanting to work more remote, maybe working from home, because all of these planets can kind of indicate this more homey type of energy, or at least a more internal energy, where a lot of your work is done through your own mind, through your own thoughts, but again, having that deeper impact. So your imagination is definitely going to play a huge role in your career this year. Your spirituality and your life philosophy is going to play a big role in your career. And just the whole idea of uncovering more of your purpose, uncovering a purpose where you're like, oh, I feel fulfilled and I feel like I'm bringing value and I feel like I'm connected. Like that's the energy that I'm getting for your overall theme of 2025, is just this theme of finding what really lights you up, what really connects you, and how you can serve people in a way that just brings more value and brings more meaning. I feel like you really are getting into alignment with that this year. These next cards, we're going to get one card that just shows a bit more about the overall themes and energies of 2025 for you regarding your career and your finances. So let's see what we have. We have the Judgment card coming out for you. Okay, so I have so many different things to say about this card. So for one, Judgment can indicate our own internal things that we're working through. But at the same time, Judgment indicates a higher calling and a higher purpose. If you see this angel, and this angel is really sticking out to me here, she is holding this trumpet and she's basically doing a calling. So I feel like you have felt a higher calling from your higher self. Perhaps you already feel this while going into 2025, or you're going to start to feel this while you're in and exploring this next year. You're going to feel this sort of higher calling coming through where you're kind of like, I want to step up into something higher, something greater, or something more in alignment, right? I feel like you're wanting to serve and awaken others, because this is also an awakening card. This is a card of liberation, helping people liberate. So perhaps you have a passion to help people liberate. Perhaps you have a passion to help people rise up to their higher, greater potential. But I also feel like at the same time, this is your year of rising up to your higher and greater potential as well. So perhaps that's also why you're going to be wanting to do that for others, because you're going to see what a deep impact it's had on you. And maybe you already have seen what a deep impact that feels like with you. And perhaps that's why you're wanting to serve other people in that way as well, or at least stepping more into that this year. So another aspect of the Judgment card, so another theme that's going to be happening this year is that Judgment can indicate that we are needing to release our judgments that we've had on ourselves, or our fear of judgment, or our fear of being seen. And it's interesting that the 12th house was a major theme for you as well, because usually with the 12th house and with Scorpio and all of that, it can indicate that we're wanting to be really internal. It can also indicate that we are exploring a lot of things within, but at the same time, when we're wanting to actually really pursue a purpose and create it, it also requires us to be seen and to come out of our shell. So I feel like there's going to be this interesting teeter-totter with you throughout the year, where part of you is doing a lot of internal work, a lot of internal exploration, a lot of internal transformation, and really uncovering yourself, figuring yourself out, and uncovering your next highest calling and your next highest purpose. But at the same time, this is also a year challenging you to get outside of your comfort zone, to overcome the fear of being seen, or to overcome self-criticism and self-judgment, right? And to overcome the fear of judgment of others as well, because that might have been something that was holding you back before. Perhaps imposter syndrome was holding you back. And imposter syndrome is when we feel like we're never good enough to pursue what we desire. We feel like no matter how much we learn, no matter how much we do, we're still not good enough. And we don't really ever feel quite good enough. And that's what imposter syndrome is. It's always feeling like you're the imposter, always feeling like, oh, I don't belong here. But the thing is you've had this calling that you do belong here. You've had this calling being like, oh, I am supposed to pursue this. I have this calling for this. So judgment is asking you to release your own judgments, your own criticism of yourself, to actually answer the call. Answer that higher calling. Step into that higher calling. Because there is also a message here saying you are ready. Otherwise, the call wouldn't be here. The call would not be here if you were not ready. So that's another message that's coming through from Spirit, is that you wouldn't be feeling the call if you weren't ready. And you wouldn't be getting the call or hearing it. So yeah, anyway, let's see some more information about this year for you, some more details on your career and finances. Ooh, so we have the 9 of Swords. There's definitely been something that has been plaguing you in the past when it comes to career and finances. Something that has given you anxiety or worries in the past. And those things, you're also being called to release those. You are being called to overcome those. And the 9 of Swords always indicates things that are worries and not necessarily an actual reality that we're living. So for example, we might always be worried about our finances, but it doesn't mean that we're actually legitimately in a bad financial situation right now. But we might constantly be worried, like, what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if blah, 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 blah. It's feeling this sort of sense of anxiety around it and stress. This can also be in regards to your career, just feeling stressed out about things, feeling burnt out, feeling overwhelmed, overthinking things, overthinking your higher calling, overthinking, answering this intuitive pull that you feel. It might give you anxiety. It might trigger all sorts of warning thoughts that are like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I can't navigate that? And this is something as well this year where it's really calling you to overcome those fears, those anxieties, to face them, okay? And that's also Scorpio and 12th house energy. It's uncovering those things that need to be released and healed. The 12th house is very much going into your subconscious and seeing what has been blocking you from expanding into more of your dream, into more of your purpose, into more of your higher calling. So this is going to be a year of facing this. This is going to be a year of breaking through these things and, no longer needing to stay stuck there, because the longer that we put it off, right? The longer that we put it off, we're still going to be feeling the inner call, which is still going to be triggering those same beliefs and same thoughts and same worries and anxieties, until we actually choose to just face it. That's the moment where we're like, okay, I answered the call and now I get to see what's around the other side. Therefore, nothing's just up to speculation anymore. You get to actually fully experience it. You get to fully step into it. And that's where the true healing begins, because let's say the scary thing does happen and let's say, oh my God, I'm being judged by other people and blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, what are their judgments? What are their criticisms? Maybe we can learn and grow from them, or maybe we can also realize that that's their judgment and criticism and not everyone has the same opinion, right? And so we kind of just realize like the fear wasn't as bad as we were making it out to be, and there's ways of just overcoming it and facing it, and then we don't have to ruminate on it anymore. Right? Because the rumination process is probably more painful than actually just going through the process and then overcoming it and then getting on the other side and being like, oh, okay, now I know how to navigate that. Now I know what to expect. And most of the time, by the way, our fears and anxieties are never as bad as we make them out to be. Sometimes we go and live through them, and then we're like, oh, I thought it was going to be way worse than what it actually was. And that's most of the time it's that way, right? So I really feel like this is a year calling you to face and overcome those, to break down those old blocks, to break down those old things. And the shadow work card being reversed here as well. Shadow work, I love that this one even came up for you. So this is a unique card to this deck. It's not actually a regular tarot card. However, this one is so perfect for you because Scorpio 12th house energy with Neptune is absolutely shadow work. It's facing the old illusions that we might have had that were causing us fears and anxieties, that were causing us to be held back, and then finding the real truth. It's also releasing old triggers, releasing old subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs. And shadow work is when we dive into the subconscious, which, by the way, the subconscious mind actually rules 95% of your entire life, because 95% of all of our thoughts, emotions, habits, and actions, behaviors, etc., all stem from our subconscious programmed beliefs that usually we pick up on subconsciously through childhood, through our parents, through our friends, the people that we're surrounded by. And we can take on these unconscious sort of blocks and limitations, right? And we can take on these beliefs that don't serve us, such as, oh, I'm not good enough, or, oh, I'm not good at this particular skill, or such as, money's not easy, you have to work super, super hard for it. Well, it's like, well, those are all beliefs because they're not true in every case, right? So they're beliefs. And yeah. So this is a year for you where you're going to be deeply uncovering those things and releasing them. Judgment is very much a release and a shedding and being open to being seen. This is your year of stepping outside of your comfort zone and being seen for who you really are, being seen for what you really want to pursue, stepping into what it is that you really want to pursue in a larger way than you ever have before. So this is going to be a huge, huge, huge year for you. So let's see what else we get. We also have the Two of Pentacles. So this is also going to be a year where you are finding your balance. Two of Pentacles can also symbolize when we are juggling two different things at once. So there could be different projects that you're juggling. You might be juggling two different jobs. You might be juggling school plus work. You might be juggling like a career plus something on the side. You might just be juggling work-life balance, things like that. But usually it indicates that we're juggling two different things. And at the same time, it can also indicate balance and having what it takes to make it through all the ebbs and flows that come our way. So things are going to be quite balanced for you. You can trust the fact that things are going to work themselves out no matter what comes your way. Things are going to work out and you are going to stay on top and you are going to stay balanced. So that's something that's great to hear from Spirit, and that's something that they want you to know. Another aspect of the Two of Pentacles is when it comes to balancing finances. This is a great card that shows that you're going to do just fine with balancing those, and also balancing your time and your schedule. So your time, your energy, your resources are going to find better balance this year than they have in previous years. And you're also going to be on top of juggling all the things that it is that you need to do, staying on top of your responsibilities, getting things done. I see you doing things in timely manners, at least more timely than maybe things have been done in the past. This is a year where I feel like you've learned so much about how to stay more on top of things. You've learned so much about how to stay more in balance, which is going to help you so much in creating more prosperity this year, more ease, and a sense of like being able to relax as well, because I think that that's something as well that has been a priority for you, is the desire for time for yourself. Okay, so let's see. Any last tarot card that wants to come out here for my group twos? Ooh, a couple tarot cards wanted to come out. So let's see what they are. So we have Queen of Wands being reversed. This is also a year where anything that you have suppressed or not felt confident about, or when it came to passions and inspiration, or even energy and momentum, if that was something that was off for you in the previous years, this is a year of reigniting confidence, reigniting spontaneity, reigniting your inner flame, your inner spark, to really just say yes, to go for the things that you want, to really step more into the spotlight energy, because the Queen of Wands, she is like exuberant. That's the word that's coming to my mind for some reason. She is spontaneous, lively, full of energy, full of passion, full of inspiration. And this might be a year, so Queen of Wands being reversed here, I actually feel like this is a year where you are taking all of those qualities and perhaps you're developing them on a more internal level, working on your inspirations from a more internal place, from a more internal level. And also finding ways to re-energize yourself and motivate yourself. If you've reached burnout, by the way, because this is also giving me a message that some of you have pushed yourself to burnout before, or some of you have maybe even gotten so excited about something, but then all of a sudden the spark just tends to just vanish and leave. And if that has been the case in the past, I also see you finding ways and uncovering ways of keeping the spark alive, keeping the motivation alive, and keeping the willpower in yourself alive, rather than feeling diminished. Because I'm almost getting this like extinguished flame feeling from the Queen of Wands being reversed. Like it's almost like in the past, when we got excited about something, there was like an extinguished flame. And another thing that I'm hearing is that perhaps something that you used to do for work or something like this, perhaps there is going to be this extinguished flame that perhaps has been coming up for you lately. So if you have felt that, where it seems like something is not quite in alignment anymore, I also see you revising those things, finding ways of reviving things in a way that is more in alignment with you. So it's not necessarily reviving what it is that you don't want anymore, but it's at least reviving things, but in a new, brand new way that are going to give you energy. It's going to give you inspiration, finding ways of realigning yourself or revising your situation so that you can be passionate, so that you can reawaken your spark, and rather than being a extinguished, diminished flame when it comes to your motivation, when it comes to your passion and things like that. So it's like reawakening your inspiration. I really see this reawakening of inspiration, this reawakening of energy, wanting to put your energy forward rather than feeling like that your energy was shut down. For those of you, by the way, that have not been getting enough sleep, that is going to be huge. And that's going to be a huge awakening, right? I'm almost seeing this as an alarm clock. And then you being like, I did not get enough sleep or revitalization. I also am hearing that it's going to be so important to prioritize a proper amount of rest for you, especially with this 12th house energy that we have happening too. And Neptune, it's like the ruler of dreams and sleep. And the 12th house is connected to that too. And then 9 of Swords, which talks about sleep. And then this lack of energy that we have going on over here. For those of you that have absolutely been dealing with that issue where it just seems like sleep has not been optimal, this is also a year where that is going to be addressed. Changes to your schedule are going to be really important. And then I see you balancing that. The Two of Pentacles just lets me know that you are going to be finding ways of balancing that energy. So we also have Queen of Cups being reversed as well. And she is when we feel like a lack of fulfillment, or we even feel like we lack time to put into proper self-care. So if you've felt that in the past, where it was sort of like, I don't have time for me, and I don't have time for the things that I love, I don't have time for the things I'm passionate about, this is also a year where that is going to come up for you to heal that. Because life is meant to be lived, and it's meant to be lived more passionately. And I see that you're going to be creating a new vision for yourself and uncovering what that new vision is and realizing that your fulfillment matters. Your emotional happiness matters, and being able to feel like you have a full cup matters, right? Like that's an important aspect of life. Like what's the point of having a job that's not fulfilling you, right? Like life is meant to be for us to live a life that makes us happy. And this is something that I think is going to be a big realization, maybe even has been a big realization, is I want to find real fulfillment. And for some reason, I'm also seeing this as you finding a deep calling in helping others find fulfillment. Perhaps one of your biggest callings is coming through the fact that you've realized how important fulfillment is. You've realized on your own spiritual journey that fulfillment and happiness are vital for life. You know, like what kind of life are we living without that? So I also see this being like your clientele, and your biggest inspiration is going to be you being someone who can call and teach and awaken in others deep realizations about fulfillment and energy, and getting the zest of life back, getting the vitality of life back. Perhaps that's going to be a big calling that you have. Maybe you've had that calling already, and this is going to be something I feel like you're exploring on a personal level, as well as it's going to inspire doing this on an even deeper level for others. So let's see what else we have here. We also have the outlaw. So you're definitely going to be getting rid of certain things in your life. I think that there's going to be certain habits that you're getting rid of. This could be financial habits, but I'm also seeing this being certain routine habits that you're like, okay, I'm no longer allowing that because that just steals my energy. It steals my motivation. I'm also seeing you I just saw this as being like a new boot that you are wearing in terms of your identity in your career. You're like putting on a new pair of boots. And when I think about putting on a new pair of boots, I'm thinking about a new endeavor, a new journey that you're starting. And then also the outlaw can indicate that we are so ready to give the boot and kick something out of our life that's no longer working for us. So it's being able to bring an end to something that is no longer serving you. Those could be different old beliefs, different old habits, different old limitations and restrictions. So if some of you felt that fear of being seen, perhaps you're giving the boot to that and you're like, you know what, that's no longer me. I'm stepping up, I'm stepping out, I'm stepping into the light, into the spotlight, and I'm not scared of it anymore. And this is the new me, this is it. Let's see. I'm also seeing some of you, by the way, randomly, like the Judgment card occasionally makes me feel like standing on stage. So I don't think that this is going to be a message for 100% of you. You're going to know whether or not this message is for you because you're going to know whether or not it correlates to what your callings have been. But if you've had a calling that would require you to either be a speaker or somebody who stands on stage in some way, somebody who's in the spotlight in some way, I am also seeing that as something that you are stepping up and into this year. So perhaps you're going to be overcoming your fear of being seen in that way, because maybe some of you, there's been a fear of being seen and being in the spotlight, but maybe that's been part of your journey and your calling is to like do that. So this is a year where I think that there's going to be opportunities for you to overcome that fear, to really step into that. And then we also have the Weaver card coming up for you. I see that you're going to be cutting away old things that no longer serve you, but also learning how to weave together a new story, weaving together a new idea. This is also being creative. You might even be creative with your hands in some way, like actually in the creation process, like a hands-on process of creating something, weaving something together. And then let's go ahead into our next card. But I definitely am seeing, yeah, like the creation of something that is going to be tangible. We also have the Strength card coming up. So the perseverance to stick through, to overcome old obstacles. We also have Good Cheer. So bringing back the aliveness and happiness in your career and in your finances. The strength to kind of make it through all of the sort of shifts and changes that you're feeling, the strength to kind of find balance, the strength to make different changes that will bring you back to balance within your career. And I'm gonna restart my camera really quick just so that it doesn't cut out on us, and then we're gonna get into more cards. Okay, let's see. My group twos, what else do we have for you for your career this year? We have a bunch of cards that just fell out over here. I'm excited to see what they are. So we have Creatrix. So you're gonna be definitely in your creative energy this year. And I see you weaving together something. You're literally weaving together something, doing something with your hands. That could be writing, or it could be, perhaps some of you have a creative thing where you literally use your hands to create. And then we have the Creatrix energy. So express emotions, birth your creations, and womb energy. This is the birth year for you. There's creations that you have been working on that they're going to come alive this year. They're going to get fully created this year. There's visions that you've had of things that you wanted to do. I'm also seeing the weaver as like sewing for some of you. So I don't know if that's like a part of your thing, or like sewing together an idea, or using your hands to, again, build something, create something, like manifest something. But the weaver's really giving that energy. So yeah, Creatrix, birth your creations. This is the year of you literally bringing something that was once an idea, and then it's going to be brought to this physical reality where it's like you can hold it in your hands. Oh yeah. That's why the hands are also showing up. It's something that you can eventually hold in your hands and be like, this is what I've created. This is what I've done. Here it is. I'm also seeing you showing people, being like, here it is. So yeah, anyway, that's really coming through. We also have compassion. Compassion for self and others. Soften your heart. Be gentle. See the good. So this is also a beautiful card to be coming up, because I feel like you're going to be so much more compassionate with yourself, so much more easy on yourself, whereas before there it seemed like there was a lot of anxieties and fears that you were battling. Then we also have the card of boundaries. This is so important, especially when it comes to schedule, especially when it comes to getting enough sleep, honoring yourself, honoring your needs, having boundaries in order to keep yourself in check and on track. So reclaim space, inner and outer and energetic boundaries. Oh yeah, so inner, outer, and energetic boundaries. So boundaries exist in all those forms. The inner boundaries that we have that keep us in check internally, with our own mind, with our own selves, keeping promises to ourselves. Outer boundaries that help us, with other relationships, other people, other circumstances and situations. And then energetic boundaries, okay? It's like, when it comes to your energy, what are you no longer willing to spend your energy on? What is not worth it to you? So keeping your energy in check as well. Those are going to be different themes that are going to come up for you in terms of your career and your money. But I'm definitely seeing that there's like a good balance. I just have to say, like when it comes to money, because I feel like I haven't touched on that a whole lot in this one, but I'm really seeing there being a good balance. And if things were giving you anxiety before, I'm seeing that in this next year, things will be much, much, much more in balance when it comes to your finances, your income, and your expenses. So you are finding ways to bring more balance, to ease up the anxiety. And I actually see you going with the flow here. And this type of perspective is the perspective where we don't have the anxiety and worries. We're kind of just like more stable. Things are more reliable. We're like, ooh, okay, I got this, and then I know this. It's like you're keeping track of things way better, and you're also just so much more in balance. It's like you've found ways to meet your needs, you've found ways to meet your goals, you've found ways to meet things to where, again, you're feeling really comfortable. So that is coming through as well, and I feel like that's going to When I tap into that, I feel like it's going to be like this ever-growing thing throughout the year, where it's ever growing to a better and better place. And even through the ebbs and flows, things will still climb up. So that's what I'm hearing there. And with that being said, let's dive into our last deck of cards. So any last messages for my group 2s about career and finances of 2025? Ooh, okay, that one almost flew into the candle. That would have been terrible. But let's see what else we get. I feel like that one really wants to come out. And maybe let's get a couple more. That one also really wants to come out. Okay, perfect. Ooh. And then that one wants to come out too, so let's go with it. So we have, I am a multidimensional, forceful being who is equipped to have and hold the entire universe inside me. So one thing that you're realizing is that you have an unlimited potential. You are realizing that you are equipped to handle anything that comes your way. So you're awakening more to your inner power this year, and Spirit also wanted to remind you of your inner strength and inner abilities and inner power. Then our next card that we have here, things are always changing, shifting, and evolving. What is true today may not be true tomorrow. So the things that you've struggled with, the things that have been hard for you, remember that things are always changing. You're not going to be permanently stuck. You're not going to be permanently going through this phase. You're not going to be permanently going through the phase of being lost or needing to figure things out or needing to build and needing to do all these other things. Things are always changing and evolving. Things are always moving forward. If you think about your life a year ago, or even 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago, you're going to notice that there's been massive differences, and things that you maybe even used to think that you'd be stuck in back then, problems that you used to be facing back then that you thought were possibly never ending for you, have already ended. They've already reached their conclusion. You've already solved them. So who's to say that these problems that you're facing right now are not going to be solved? There's a huge message coming through from Spirit right now saying things are always changing, and trust the fact that you are not going to be permanently in whatever it is that you are. So for one, embrace where you are right now because it's not permanent. And also trust that any problems that you're facing right now are not going to be carried with you forever. You are going to find the solutions. You are going to find the evolvement because all of these things are helping you evolve, and you have been evolving so much already. Look at how much you've evolved even over the last year, the last 2 years. You've already evolved so much. So imagine the fact that you're going to be somewhere completely new in the next year. Over this next year, you're going to be learning and evolving so much. So that's a huge reminder that wanted to come through. Then we also have, how can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? Oh, I love that that one came up next. How can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? So for example, when we actually look back, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even just a year ago, whatever, there was certain things that, again, you were facing that might have seemed really negative or difficult at the time. But in retrospect, we can maybe look back at them and think, oh, that actually gave me a gift, and it gave me a sense of growth that has evolved me in such a positive way. Maybe you've learned something from those things. Maybe you've learned about how you don't want to be. Maybe you've learned more about who you are and who you do want to be. So things are always changing. How can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? And also through that realization, through being thankful for that past experience, realize that there's also going to come a time where you're going to be thankful for all the things that you are facing right now and learning from. There's going to be a time where you look back and you're like, oh, I'm so thankful that that happened. So yes, and because of that, maintain your peace. Things are just as they are meant to be, and you have really good things that popped up for you for the year of 2025 that you can really look forward to, because it's going to be a year of such growth and evolvement and really finding your true calling, your true purpose, which I think is going to light you up on a soul level. It is going to light you up to create, to manifest something that you can actually really hold in your hand. There's going to be good cheer. I'm also seeing this being a celebration, by the way. So another aspect, another thing that I'm seeing right now is there's going to be something to celebrate. There's going to be something that you create that you're really proud of in this next year, or an opportunity that even comes your way. But I'm seeing this as something that you are creating. And there's going to be like a celebration around it. There's going to be a moment of like, oh my goodness, guys, let's celebrate it. There's going to be friends that want to celebrate for you, that are really proud of you, that are cheering you on, that are like, oh my God, look at you did it. Like, it's going to be so beautiful. So our last card that we have, what did you learn from this connection? So from previous connections that you've had, through previous experiences that you've had, what did you learn from them? I also think that there's going to be different connections that you make in this next year that are going to offer really great learning for you to help you expand. And it's going to serve more in your purpose of how you are going to be helping other people. And it's going to help you bring more value. It's going to help you bring more of a sense of fulfillment and purpose with whatever it is that you do. So there's going to be a very creative energy. You are absolutely building something this year. And there's going to be a celebration around what it is that you are building. So keep that in mind, my group number 2s. There's going to be some sort of like thing to celebrate. Like, this could be like a milestone that you're reaching, an award that you're getting, landing the deal of a lifetime because of what you've created, or having created something and then all of a sudden the launch of it and people are like, oh my God, look at this, like clap, clap, clap. Exciting things. So there's going to be things to celebrate. There's going to be amazing new kind of like callings, higher, deeper callings that are coming up for you. And that is what we have here, my beautiful group number 2. So I am sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. If you are curious about the rest of your year of 2025, we also have the 2025 love prediction, the 2025 general prediction, and just so many other things. So if you want to check those out, those are going to be here, or stick around for them to come out if they're not out yet. But by the time you're watching this, those are probably already out based on my current schedule. So anyway, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. And until next time, bye. All right, my group number 3s, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your career and finances prediction for 2025. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so beginning with your Astro dice, let's see your year of 2025. So we have the moon in Gemini in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of expansion, travel, freedom, philosophy, teaching as well, and having the moon being in the 9th house. There is some like inner calling, some inner intuitions that you have that are calling you to creating more freedom this year. So this could be things like financial freedom, finding ways of expanding your career and your finances in order for you to be more free with your time, more free with your schedule. There's going to be intuitive callings that you have that are calling you to perhaps be more free, or perhaps expand yourself. And I'm seeing some of you, you might be called to literally travel or live more of a laptop lifestyle this year, or create things to be more efficient where you are able to have more freedom and dominion in your time, your schedule, and your finances and resources. So that is something that's greatly coming through. Gemini is the sign where it's all about planning, learning, the networking connections that we make, and all things like that. So I actually see for you, you're going to be making the right connections this year, possibly having the right conversations that allow you more freedom. They are going to allow you more expansion. I also think that you're going to be learning things, okay? You're going to be learning things that also give you more financial freedom and expansion within your career and finances as well. So all of that's coming through. I'm also seeing like learning new philosophies, learning new ways of living in general that are going to bring about more freedom and expansion in all of those areas, and possibly more travel. This can also be where there might be different opportunities coming up that evoke more travel for you. They evoke more of like a on the go kind of energy, doing things on the go, but it's also, I'm getting the sense of like creativity and the sense of like inner intuition being really strong and really guiding you through that. And emotionally, I feel that you're going to be more balanced and you're going to be connecting to the right people and the right resources and the right learning that's going to literally teach you how to create that. It's going to give you the right ideas, because Gemini 2 is about ideas. It's the mind. And I'm seeing that whatever it is that you're planning is going to be more implemented and opening more of those doorways for you in 2025. So with that being said, we're also going to go into this deck, and we're going to get one card that's going to resemble more of the overall theme and energy of the year of 2025 for you when it comes to career and money. So we have Justice coming up for you. Justice is when we bring in more balance. And we are also here to really speak our mind and put our foot down about certain things. So this is a time where your boundaries are going to be a lot more apparent. And it's like you're gaining the strength to really implement certain boundaries. You're gaining the strength to really speak your mind. You're gaining the strength to also bring in more balance in your life, because I think that you're realizing that you don't want to overwork, nor are you wanting there to be a discrepancy between how much you work versus the value that you're putting out and the compensation that you're getting in return. So there could be some big realizations when it comes to that. And also you're willing to cut out things that are no longer serving you, because the sword resembles things that we are ready to cut the ties with, especially if they've caused us imbalances. It's also the authority to speak our mind, and it can also symbolize stepping up into more of an authority place. So perhaps in your career in some way, you're stepping up into some kind of higher position, or you're getting to a place in yourself where you are just giving yourself more authority to be like, you know what? This is what I want and need. And I'm going to get this thing done, and I am going to find a way. I'm going to liberate myself, because Justice is connected to Libra, which is connected to the scales. And this is the Libra is the root word of like liberation. So you are going to find ways of liberating yourself from previous restrictions, finding ways of liberating yourself from previous blocks and limitations. So let's see, what else do we get for you, my group 3s, for your 2025 year ahead regarding career and finances. Also, one thing I'll have to say too about Justice being with the scales here, you're also really determined to bring in more balance financially. So this could be things like asking for a pay raise, or asking for more freedom and more time off in order to create this balance. This could also be you, if you're a business owner, adjusting your prices to reflect more of your value. The courage to really balance the income versus what is it that you're putting out and giving. So there's going to be more balance with those things. And the scales can also indicate like income versus expenses, for example, and balancing those. Then we also have the Chariot coming through. The Chariot is a card that indicates progress, breakthroughs. It also can talk about when we're faced with a choice that we have to make. And maybe that's also why we have scales. Maybe there's something that you're going to be weighing out the options, weighing out two different things, because we did also have Gemini, we have Chariot, and then we had Justice, which is the scale. So I'm definitely also getting and seeing a message here about a major choice that you might have to make within your career. And this is like, again, weighing out the options, like, do I do this or do I do that? Or weighing out, okay, this is the value I provide, this is what I should get compensated, or et cetera, weighing out things in your schedule, needing to maybe make a big choice when it comes to, is this worth my time or not? Do I stay here or do I move on to something else? You know, there's this weighing out of the options that's going to be happening through this next year as well. And I'm also seeing with the Chariot, you're going to be figuring this out. You're going to be having your breakthrough and being able to move forward and gain a lot of momentum within your career this year. The Chariot is also super connected to travel. by the way. And the fact that we had the 9th house coming up as well with this Gemini energy, I'm definitely seeing travels in the cards for you. I'm seeing a more on-the-go lifestyle, perhaps even working on the go. Having more freedom to work where you want to is coming through. And let's see what else we get here. So we also have the Devil card being reversed. So the release of restrictions, limitations, and oppressions and things that kept us stuck, or even negative habits that we've had, self-imposed limitations. The Devil can be limitations that are imposed by other people or external forces, or it can even be internal self-imposed limitations that we've had on ourselves. So I'm also seeing you bringing justice to that. Like the fact that we have the Justice card, and it's almost like where the Devil ended up being placed, she's like kind of confronting that energy, and she's like, you know what? I'm putting an end to this. I'm cutting myself free of the old limitations. I am cutting myself free of the blocks, of the negative patterns, of the things that no longer serve me, of the things that I don't want to be tied to. So I'm almost seeing you ending something that was sort of holding you back, or at least you're going to be confronting it to the point where you're going to be released from it in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps it's not necessarily bringing about an ending, but it might be bringing about something where we're at least cutting ourselves free from the limitation that it brought us, from the oppression that we felt, from the restriction that we felt. So that is coming through really powerfully. And let's see our next card for career and finances. Ooh, I just got a big message for some of you. For some of you, financially, if you have felt like you have reached a cap where it's kind of felt like, oh, I couldn't make more than that, or, and this is specifically for those of you that kind of can make your own money, or at least you can, ask for a raise and things like that. If you have felt stuck at a cap and it's almost felt like you couldn't break out of that, it's almost felt like there was a ceiling on your money, I'm also seeing you breaking through that this year, breaking through that cap, breaking through that limitation. And you're going to be really proud of yourself, and then things are going to really gain momentum from there. And look at this, we also have the 2 of Swords being reversed, which is one of the greatest positions for this card to show up in, because this is also where we take off the blindfold. So anywhere where you used to feel stuck, where you used to feel like you're in protection mode, or you even used to feel like you couldn't find a solution, maybe there was 2 different, swords that we were debating between, but we were kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're going to be finding the solution for you this year. The solution is going to present itself, and it's going to be a solution that allows you to let down your guard. It's going to be a solution that allows you to see a bigger picture, to see more possibility than you considered before in your past. So this is going to bring you a lot of those clarities, a lot of those answers. And when it comes to any sort of financial ceiling that you had, or any sort of limitation that you had, you are also going to be seeing ways of breaking through that this year. All of a sudden, those answers are going to be coming. And yeah, it's almost like you literally felt blind to the solution, and maybe perhaps even you feel blind to the solution right now, seeing like, I don't see how. It's like I've exhausted all options, I've tried all things, like I've thought of all the ways, and maybe you just still, it's like you still don't see quite the way, but there is going to be a way presenting itself in 2025 of how to raise the bar, of how to have your breakthrough, of how to find your solution to whatever it was that was not working for you. So justice is really, it's really on your side of you stepping up into your inner authority this year. That's it. It's like you stepping up into your inner authority, knowing your worth. Knowing your worth is huge, and it's going to be a huge aspect of you changing the game this year and changing things around. So we also have 4 of Swords. This is also going to be a year where there is more time to rest and relax. There's also going to be a lot of creativity and thoughts that you are developing within as well. So when it comes to your creative endeavors, I do see you getting more rest. I do see you getting more time off and more time to allow yourself to be creative. I'm also seeing that there could be something deep that you're contemplating, something that you're trying to deeply think about and find the answer to. It is going to come to you because that is a theme that's coming through here again. The answer is going to be coming to you about whatever it was that was keeping you stuck and keeping you kind of in the dark and confused. So the answer is going to come through for that, just so you know. And let's see what else we get here for you. My group threes. Your year of 2025. Okay, we also have the warrior. It's interesting that the sword keeps coming up for you because the sword indicates authority, and it also indicates cutting yourself free of limitation, breaking free of limitation, having breakthroughs. So break through the financial ceiling, breaking through whatever was keeping you stuck, breaking through and finding the solution that you need, breaking through that old wall that, again, just kept you stuck from moving forward somehow. This is your year of that breakthrough. And the sword seems to be a really common theme coming up for you. And the Aries symbolism that we have here with the ram horns indicates that you are stepping into that warrior energy, this new beginning energy, because Aries also symbolizes a new beginning, and it also symbolizes your inner power and your inner strength. So you're going to be really stepping up the plate, knowing your worth, knowing how to communicate, knowing what to say, and really kind of feeling that inner strength to actually say what it is that you want, need, and deserve. That's really coming through. We also have the sovereign first. So freedom. Freedom is a huge thing that's coming up for you. So again, this indicates more financial freedom and more freedom when it comes to your schedule and your time. Freedom to work more from where you want, work more remotely. Sovereign is also kind of when we're in charge of our own schedule and our own time. So perhaps you're going to get more freedom in that aspect to kind of feel like you're more in control of those things, to feel like you're more in creative control of your career, to feel like you're more in the control of calling the shots of, like, you know, all those different types of things. Perhaps some of you might be like even a business owner, or stepping more into that, or stepping more into just more freedom when it comes to those things. Being more free, setting yourself free. So that's coming through. Let's see what else we get here for you, my group threes. More about your finances and career for 2025. I feel like this one wants to come out. Sensuality. This is when we're also getting deeper into our passions and deeper into the flow state. So also when it comes to aspects of your finances and career, perhaps if you've ever had like writer's block, burnout, or if it felt like sometimes things would get stuck, I am seeing you mastering a bit more of the flow state, getting into flow when it comes to your tasks and the things that you need to do, and also taking more time to like literally enjoy yourself. Enjoying yourself more in your career, taking more time for you, finding new things that you enjoy on the side as well in order to create more balance. Look at like, you literally cannot make this up. Like, oh, what? The fact that we have justice coming up again with the scales, with Libra, you are being liberated of something. You're also finding more balance. Balance can occasionally also indicate that we're balancing two things at the same time. Occasionally. Okay, so that could be a thing for you. You might be balancing and juggling multiple things at once, but at the same time, you're doing so in a way that is going to bring you more freedom in all the aspects. Justice is also, again, the liberation for us to bring justice to our situation. Like, here's my worth, here's what I'm actually worthy of. So this could, again, be like an increase in pay for a lot of you, which I'm really seeing. Righting any past wrongs is also a message that's coming through. So anything that was not quite right before or wasn't fair, there's justice being brought to the unfair scenarios that were in your life. So that's coming through. And let's get into our next deck of cards here. Let's see, my group threes, what else do we get for you for your career and finances? We have earth grounding coming up. So this says, calm the mind, connect to the body, mindfulness, and nature. So getting back to yourself and what brings you peace is really coming through. And this leopard that's in the background is reminding me of you calling back your inner power, your inner strength, being able to feel grounded, more stable, and more secure, and more protected. More protected is coming through, feeling more protected when it comes to your stability, feeling more protected when it comes to your freedom. This to me almost looks like antlers, like growing antlers, which symbolizes to me getting the strength to have a breakthrough, getting the strength to have any sort of confrontation that you might need to do, any sort of big important conversation that might have seemed intimidating to you in the past, but now it's kind of like, you know what, I'm not intimidated by this because I see my worth, I see what I offer, and I see my inner power, I see my inner authority, and it's sort of like waking up to that, and then waking up to the challenge to maybe have that breakthrough, to have that important conversation. And let's see what else we get here. That one wanted to come out. So let's see. We also have integrated woman coming through. So self-acceptance, integrating lessons, grounded healing. I also feel like you are learning how to integrate old lessons from the past, old things from the past. And it's going to really help you see new ways of going about the future. So I'm also seeing this you rising in confidence. And those integrated lessons from the past, like things that didn't work out for you in the past, things that didn't go your way in the past, you're sort of going to be reflecting on those things, learning from them. And then you're no longer going to have to face those same cyclical issues, those same issues that would pop up in a pattern all the time. You're going to be learning how to really integrate whatever that was teaching you. And because of that, you're having this process of liberation. Now let's see what else we have. How do I get that card out? We also have mirror. So the world is a mirror. Notice patterns, clear blocks, which is kind of what we were just talking about. Noticing patterns and clearing blocks. Life is a mirror, and life will always mirror back to us what we are projecting onto the mirror. So when we project like, oh, people are not going to pay me more because, of this and this and this reason, well, then the reality mirror is going to project that back to us. Or if we're saying like, oh, I'm stuck in this situation and there's nothing I can do about it, well, then the reality will mirror that back to you. But when you start saying things more like, there is unlimited possibility, right? The ninth house is like awakening us to unlimited possibility. And when we start saying that, then the world, the universe is going to start reflecting that back to us and showing us, okay, here's a world of unlimited possibility. Then we start awakening our consciousness. We start literally expanding our consciousness to think of ideas that were outside of our old box. Because when we used to put limitations on us, then we're also putting limitations on what our mind is capable of perceiving, right? And so when you say that, oh, my choices are limited, well, now you've literally put your mind, your conscious awareness, into a box that says your options are limited. And they're limited by whatever constraints that you currently perceive. But as soon as you start telling yourself a new story, such as, my options are endless and there's always a way, and there's always going to be a way that works out for the benefit of everyone. There's always going to be a solution to any problem, and there's going to be a solution that is positive and great and mind-blowingly good. Once you start really actually believing that, feeling the energy of that, feeling what that feels like to live in that type of reality, reality is going to mirror that to you. Your brain and your entire perception now moves to a more unlimited reality where you've now allowed your mind to expand into new ways of thinking, new thought processes. Because now your mind is not limited by this belief and this restriction of, no, my options are only this. Like, I'm sure we've all had that friend before where they were in a situation that they perceived themselves to be stuck in, but from the external outside perspective, you might have been hearing their story being like, but you're not stuck though. You have all these other options. But then whenever you even presented your perspective and your options, they would almost not even be able to hear it or understand it because they literally were boxed in by their own constraints. And they're like, no, but you don't understand because of this and this and this. And you're just like, but why does that have to block you though? Because you saw a bigger picture, but they couldn't even perceive of the bigger picture that you were trying to convey from the outside because they were so limited by their own current story and their own current limitation. So for example, we all have those as well. We all have these self-imposed limitations. And I feel like this year, 2025 is going to be a year for you where you are going to be expanding your mind to more of what's possible. And you're going to have these different breakthroughs that previously you perceived as unbreakable boundaries. They used to be unbreakable boundaries for you, but this year is going to be a year of awakening. This is going to be a year of integrating old lessons. This is going to be a year of healing and letting go and breaking through those old limitations. Literally the Justice card coming up so much. It's like, no. This is a year of breakthroughs, okay? And this is the year of letting out your inner warrior and finding your freedom and cutting through the illusion that there wasn't another way, cutting through the illusions that maybe kept you stuck and restricted or capped off at a certain point in your career, at a certain point within your finances. Whatever those caps were, this is your year of stepping into more freedom and calling on that inner warrior and being liberated from those old constraints and restrictions. So that's going to come through massively this year, which is going to be what allows you to use your intuition, your higher learning, your higher wisdom to expand into more freedom, which is exactly what the 9th house was showing. This is allowing you to expand more, have that freedom. And I'm also seeing, again, travel, different breakthroughs, having a big choice. But now I think that choice is going to become easy within 2025 because there's going to be a release of old limitations. So let's go ahead and see any last cards for you, my group 3s for your year of 2025, career and finances. Any last guidance from Spirit? Any last words that they want to say? So one of them is pay attention. If you find yourself being distracted even while listening to this, I feel like this is a message for some of you. If you just got distracted and you're just like, oh, I missed like the last 5 minutes or something. This is your card. Go back, pay attention, listen, because Spirit said what they wanted to say. So pay attention, maybe even write certain epiphanies down. Like if you've had epiphanies through the reading, if you've had realizations, if, anything was coming through, pay attention because this is your year of listening to your thoughts. And I'm also hearing a piece of advice from your guides also saying that it's going to be important to write down your realizations, to write down your epiphanies, because sometimes the mind, literally, sometimes we have the biggest realizations, but then the mind 2 seconds later is like, whoop, what realization? What epiphany, right? And then we just forget, or we get the idea of a lifetime. And then we're like, oh yeah, I have to remember that. And then we forget to write it down. And then a day later, we're thinking back and we're like, ooh, what was that good idea again? Oh shit, I can't quite remember. So that's coming through. Then we also have the process is the worst until it isn't. So if you are stuck in anything right now where you're feeling like, oh, this process is really difficult, this process is really hard, etc., the process is the worst until it isn't, because the process, you're going through a process of liberation right now. So yes, the process might feel like the worst. It might feel like all this stuck energy. It might feel like all this resistance. It might feel like, oh, I have to step up to this confrontation. I have to have these hard conversations. I have to make these difficult decisions. Like, it might feel difficult in the moment, but remember, the process is the worst until it isn't, because there's a moment where you will liberate that situation. There's a moment where you will have the breakthrough. You know, if you're struggling to break out of an old cap that you've had in your career, it might seem like such a hard process. It might seem like such a difficult situation at first, but it's a difficult situation until it isn't. There's going to be a moment where all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I'm free of it. Now I've broken through. And then you're going to be looking back being like, I'm really glad I went through that process. I'm really glad I integrated those old lessons. You're going to be learning lessons this year that help you step into your inner warrior. And it might be hard at first because you might have to have tough conversations. You might have to make tough decisions. You might have to put in some more effort in certain aspects, but it's going to teach you a lesson. Then it's going to set you free. And then you're going to be on the other side of things where you're living in a more sovereign, more free, more expansive career and financial situation that then looking back, you're like, oh, I'm so glad that I went through that. I'm so glad the universe called me to step up into that, because of the power that you're stepping into, the inner warrior that is being cultivated because of this. Like, that's literally why we had this leopard in the background here, because I feel like your spirit is evolving into a more powerful version of you through the lessons that you are being called to step up into this year. And then in retrospect, you're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I did that. The process is the worst until it isn't, until we're outside of it. And then we're like, oh shit, that served a good purpose. And then we're really thankful for it. And then we look back and we're like, oh wow, I'm a new version of me now. I'm now an up-leveled version of me because of what I've learned, okay? So I'm gonna restart my camera. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. My camera always cuts out at 30 minutes. So sometimes when I look at the time, I'm like, oh my God, I have 5 seconds left. I need to restart. So anyway, our next card that we have is, I know I will never miss what is meant for me. I know I will never miss what is meant for me. Anything that is meant for you will always be, and there's no way it could ever be taken away from you, because if it's meant for you, there's no way you could ruin it. There's no way you could, like, yeah. Does that make sense? Like, whatever is meant for you will always be for you, because there's no way, if you're you, that you could ruin the thing that's literally meant for you. So trust the process. Trust in yourself, right? Have more courage and more belief in yourself. Then, our other card that we have, if you fall, will it all fall apart? And the answer to that is no, because you get back up and try again. If you fall, will it all fall apart? No. You just get back up and you're like, oh, well, I fell. I tripped over because of this thing. Now we know better how to utilize our body. We know better how to move. We know better how to not fall. So, our last card that we have for you, what are you holding on to that you need to let go of? Fears, inhibitions. What are you holding on to that you need to let go of? It could be like a physical thing in your life that you're like, oh, I need to let go of that. Could be an internal thing that we need to let go of. A fear, a belief, a limitation. What are you holding on to that you need to let go of that's going to allow you to expand into more and expand into what you truly want to expand into? So that is your reading all about career and finances for 2025 for you. My group number 3 is, it definitely looks like you're breaking through the old caps, the old limitations, especially financially, and also when it comes to your freedom within your career. I'm not seeing any like massive career changes other than you stepping into like more freedom, whatever that looks like, whatever that means for you. For some of you, it could be moving into like a different career for some of you, but for the most part, I'm seeing you just breaking through and expanding and creating more freedom within what you're already in. But for some of you, the scales could represent moving into a new dimension, moving into a new realm within your career. So for some of you, it could indicate that. And then bringing justice, cutting away things that no longer serve you, things that no longer resonate with you, and all of that creating more freedom, stepping into your inner warrior, being able to travel more and have more of a balance in your life. So that is what we have here for you. It looks like this is going to be a very positive year for you with a lot of breakthroughs and a lot of overcoming those old caps, those old blocks, making some really important decisions, shifting the story a little bit, shifting the direction a little bit into a much more freedom-based, prosperous life. So that is what we have here. Again, I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. If you are curious about your 2025 love life or even the general prediction, those videos are going to be on here as well. So definitely subscribe and stick around for those. And until next time, bye. All right, my group number 4 is if you chose this pile, this is going to be your 2025 year ahead career and finances prediction. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, my group 4 is, let's see what your year has in store for you. So we have the North Node in Cancer in the 11th house. The North Node talks about our destiny, what we're meant to be moving towards, what we're meant to be creating. It talks about our future, so it's very future oriented. It doesn't stay stuck in the past. It very much moves forward. So this is a year that's very forward looking for you. I feel like this is a year within career and finances that you're ready to move forward. You're ready to look beyond. And this could also be a year with a lot of momentum behind it because the North Node also kind of slingshots us forward with a lot of forward momentum. Being in the zodiac sign of Cancer, this helps us get in touch more intuitively. It also brings us towards more comforts. So it helps us with wanting to find more comfort, wanting to find a deeper sense of security. Cancer is the crab. And you can think about the crab that, they wear the outer shell, they are protected, they are secure, they'll also fight for what it is that they need. And the North Node being in the zodiac sign of Cancer, I feel like is you moving more towards I want to be comfortable where I am. I want more of this belief in myself, in my ability to protect, be stable, be secure, and be kind of on top of things and within balance. Because also when we look at the symbol that we have for Cancer, which is sort of this sideways 69, it has almost this yin yang kind of energy with it. And to me, what this is talking about is more balance and a deeper sense of stability and reassurance, I almost want to say, in your life, and this ability to be comfortable. Okay, this is also all taking place in the 11th house for you. So this is going to be your theme this year, is this North Node Cancer 11th house energy. The 11th house deals with our friends, our coworkers. It is networking, gathering information. It's also the house of innovation and new opportunities coming in. It can also be the house that talks about travel or other kind of worldly exploration. And especially with the North Node kind of being in the 11th house over here, there could be other opportunities popping up this year that perhaps you're going to travel somewhere and that's going to be significant. Or perhaps there's travel involved within your work this year. Maybe you work in a realm where travel is a thing. Or this can also indicate gaining more clients or expanding the ways in which you make money, expanding the opportunities that are available to you, kind of calling in new opportunities and also moving towards a new opportunity, because the North Node being over there is very much indicates taking on another opportunity that allows you to expand into more. It allows more to open up for you. And since the 11th house is also very much about the world and about society, it can indicate that we're getting more recognition. It can indicate that we're getting more eyes on us or getting more clientele to where it, again, allows us to expand. This could be other people talking about you word of mouth and things like that. But it's very much expansive within the networking within people, marketing even. Marketing is an aspect of the 11th house and the North Node, and kind of just reaching more potential, reaching more eyes, reaching more minds. The awareness of you and what you do is expanding. So that is all coming up with North Node in Cancer in the 11th house, and kind of like creating a career where it's like you're more comfortable and following your intuition and all of that. So let's see what else we get for you. We're also going to get one of these cards to resemble. Oh, by the way, if there is like important people that you could meet that can bring in new opportunities for you, that's also happening this year. You're going to be making the connections with people that are going to be kind of bringing in new potentials, new learning, new ideas, new potentials, new opportunities. So we're also going to get one card from here that's going to represent more of the overall theme and energy of the year for you. Oh, I felt like those two really wanted to come out. Let's see what they are. We have the Magician and the Emperor coming out for you. So the Magician is such a powerful card, and so is the Emperor. My group fours. Look at what we have here. The Magician is when we feel like we are in our creator energy. It's also the energy of being the master manifester, taking an idea and bringing it into this world. So if any of you have a sort of idea that you're like, oh, I'd love to manifest that, or I'd love to create that, or I'd love to bring this idea to life, the Magician indicates all of those types of energies. The Magician also indicates things kind of like happening like magic. So opportunities kind of like popping up out of nowhere, new things starting out of nowhere, meeting the right teachers, meeting the right people, because the Magician can sometimes also indicate meeting the right person who is going to teach us exactly what we need to know to help us step into our emperorness, our emperor phase. But either way, I see you being the Magician, and I'm also seeing you come across people that are going to help awaken your inner skills to make things happen for you this year. This number one is making me feel like you are the innovator this year, and it's also making me feel like you are your number one asset to making things happen. The number ones are the pioneer. They are the leader. So I feel like you're stepping more into your leadership position to call in more of a solid foundation in your career, realizing that you are the leader of what it is that you create in your life, career-wise and financially. You are the person who is making the decisions, who's calling the shots, who's leading where you go in life. And this is very much like realizing your inner creator potential, waking up to that realization more and being able to take that more into your own power. I actually see you stepping into more of your power this year, more of your divine purpose, but more of your power. I see a lot of like, yeah, I keep saying the word creator. I wonder if some of you are actually like creators who chose this pile, because for some reason I keep being called to saying that. But you know, that might be relevant for some of you watching this, but again, it is a general reading. So either way, I do see you just stepping more into like, at least, the very least, more of just like a leadership position and kind of being able to manifest things easier when it comes to your career and money this year. The Emperor as well is such a positive card, where it's sort of like we get to a big goal and we're able to sort of sit on our throne and look at what we've accomplished. The Emperor usually symbolizes accomplishing a really big goal. It's also stepping into the more masculine energy, which all of us, by the way, have a masculine and feminine energy. But the Emperor is the masculine energy that exists within all of us, which talks about your ability to take action and make things happen. It also talks about more physical, tangible reality, so such as money or physical items, big accomplishments, big purchases, conquering old obstacles, conquering big ideas, conquering big tasks, rising to the top of them. This is also a place where usually people come to us for advice because they're like, how did you build what you've built? How did you get where you are? So there could be some sort of big accomplishment this year, whether that be a graduation, because I'm getting a few different messages. Some of you, this could be a graduation and being able to be surrounded by a lot of people who are really congratulating you and you being able to move on to the next chapter, because North Node is like the manifesting of this next chapter. So for some of you, this could be a graduation. For some of you, this could be reaching a big milestone and winning an award. For some of you, this could be a promotion. For others of you, this could be some sort of recognition from your boss to take on a bigger project. For others of you, if you're like an entrepreneur or something like that, I see you reaching a very big accomplishment that you set out to achieve and manifesting something. Stepping more into that leadership position, because yeah, the number one deals with the leader, but then the emperor is also the leader. I know I'm talking really fast, but sometimes when I channel, there's so much information coming at once. And so I end up talking really fast. But yes, so the emperor, it's like really you, stepping into this like really on the top leadership position. And I do see some form of proudness and celebration around reaching a certain milestone, and also really starting to feel your confidence about, look what I've created. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you have already come so far within what you've started, because I'm kind of getting this feeling that you have already accomplished quite a bit in a certain chapter that you're in. And this North Node is making me feel like it's about to slingshot more. It's about to slingshot further this year. So this is going to be a really big year for you, to say the least. And let's see what else we get. My group 4s in regards to your career and your finances. One thing I can say about finances when we have the Magician and the Emperor, by the way, is that this is going to be a year that's going to be quite successful for you. And on that note, we actually have the King of Pentacles that popped up. It did pop up in the reverse position, and I actually feel like it's popping up reverse because there was certain things that maybe you have set out to achieve, which maybe you're wondering like, okay, how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to get to that goal? There could have even been times in the past where you actually felt like finances were a little bit like not quite where you wanted them to be when King of Earth is reversed. It can be when we're feeling a bit of that lack of abundance or even lack of leadership, not really seeing our full potential or our full worth. And this is a year, the fact that you have the Magician and the Emperor as your theme cards this year, this is a year where you are going to be rising up the financial ladder, rising up the ladder of creating more stability, accomplishing some big things this year. And let's see what else we get for you as well. So there are things that I do feel like you were dissatisfied with, even projects that didn't work out in the past. Opportunities that didn't work out in the past. This is coming up. Opportunities and projects that seemed to be delayed or didn't work out in the past. This year, I feel like you've learned from those, and perhaps they're going to either come back around this year, opportunities for them are going to come back around this year, or you're going to be finding new things to replace it with that are going to bring in more prosperity and expansion in those areas. We also have the Three of Wands that popped up for you. So the Three of Fires, the Three of Wands. This is when we're expanding our horizons and what is possible for us. It can also indicate travel as well. So since we had the North Node, the 11th house, and the Three of Wands popping up, there definitely could be some sort of opportunity to travel somewhere, and somehow it's connected to your career. Okay? Somehow it's going to be connected to your career. I'm also seeing within this card that you're almost setting out on a big adventure or setting out on a big goal or looking at ways of expanding what is possible in your realm of potential. We also have the World being reversed. So yeah, it's almost like there was like unfinished projects or unfinished goals from last year. Some sort of potential that wasn't quite reached. Or even recognition. If some of you work in a field where marketing is important or getting more worldly recognition, more worldly known, if some of you work in a field where that is important, with this being reversed, I almost feel like there was maybe a goal or something that wasn't reached in that area. And this is a year where you have the ability to completely change that around so that you can get that recognition. I think you're also going to be learning ways, because if you felt restricted in like, oh, it just seems like no matter what I do, I'm not getting noticed, or I seem like no matter what I do, I'm not getting the opportunity, or no matter what I do, there's resistance in the way of me finishing what I've set out to achieve. This is your year that is calling you to actually learn from that. And then look at the keyhole that's at the top here. It's almost like you're trying to figure out how to unlock this opportunity. You're looking at, how can I unlock this into my life? And it's almost seemed like the door hasn't opened yet. This is your year of figuring out how to open up that door and how to get more results, how to get more worldly recognition, which is what I was seeing, the fact that we had the North Node in the 11th house in the Astrodice. So what this is telling me is that this world being reversed is kind of maybe the energy that you're entering in the year with, is this feeling of like, I haven't quite cracked the code of figuring this out. The 11th house for this year, you are definitely going to be figuring out more ways of expansion, reaching that opportunity, getting that recognition that you are seeking. We also have the Hierophant. So this is going to greatly come through what you're willing to learn. The Hierophant indicates higher education, also learning through the path of others, kind of observing, okay, what have other people done? Where have they failed versus where did they succeed? As you learn and observe from those, you are going to gain a lot of your keys to success. Also just learning in general. So for those of you that are called to go to school for something, or read a book, or seek higher education in some way, shape, or form, that's going to be really positive for you. And then on top of that, the Hierophant can indicate being the teacher as well. So it talks about the student and the teacher. It talks about both archetypes of those. So you might have a calling to be either or this year, teaching what you know and what you've learned. And I feel like getting another card here for some more general information on the year for you regarding finances and career. So some of you also with the Hierophant coming up in regards to finances, you might actually be learning more about money this year than you've learned in previous years. And there could be like a big milestone that you're wanting to reach. And I'm also seeing, investments. I'm randomly hearing if there was like an investment that you're looking back on and you're like, oh, that wasn't lucrative, or that sort of failed. You're going to be learning from that this year. And I also feel like you're going to be changing things around, but you're learning greatly from the things that have not worked out for you in the past. You're learning so much from them. So don't take those for granted, because Spirit is really actually wanting to tell you right now, like, all of those served a great purpose. And if you look at them with that perspective, you're going to be able to extract the lesson and the value from them, which I think is going to unlock so much of your potential. And also the fact that our next card is literally the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. This right here, this is what I'm talking about. This is the energy that I'm really feeling for you. Do not give up on what it is that you set out to achieve, which I don't feel like you're going to, because I feel like you're already very much like, you know, you're somebody who strives for like higher heights. But 9 of Earth, the 9 of Pentacles, is the card of success. It is the card of achievement. It is the card of basking in your luxury, basking in the fruits of your labor. So if you're working really hard right now on something, I'm almost hearing a message that some of you are working really hard towards a goal, really hard towards something, and perhaps you're doing so while not really seeing the fruits of your labor. And that's why King of Earth is also being reversed here, is like we're putting so much effort in, but maybe not quite seeing the payoff yet, but we feel like this has the potential to pay off in the long run. 9 of Earth, yes it does. Yes it does. When you stick to those things and you believe in them and you look at, okay, how can I improve this? Where can I learn more skills to kind of unlock more wisdom, more knowledge, to bring this idea to completion, to continue to believe in myself? Those things will pay off. 9 of Earth is literally the card of like success. It is the card of like winning the fruits of your labor, being able to bask in your success, being able to almost like show like, here's what I've created. I'm also seeing this as like material success. So there also could be, by the end of the year, some sort of like big purchase that you make, or some sort of like, not all of you, it's a big purchase. Like I actually feel like that's less than half of you watching this, but there will be some sort of accomplishment of like, look what I've attained because of my hard work and my progress. There will be that happening for some of you. You'll know whether that's the case because you'll already have set out on that particular goal, if so. But others of you, the 9 of Earth is you being able to sort of walk in the gardens of your success. And I'm saying that in quotations because I'm using that as a metaphor, as in like being able to appreciate and look at how far I've come. It's like, I'm actually getting the feeling when I look at this card that by the end of the year, you're kind of looking at your bank account being like, I'm really satisfied with the compensation of my hard work. I'm really satisfied that I did not give up and I persevered even when things were a little bit harder, even when I couldn't see exactly what the future was going to hold in that for me. I actually feel like you're going to be like looking at your bank account being really proud. When I'm looking at this, I'm literally seeing her with kind of like the energy of her savings and things like that and being like, look what I did. And some of you, you might be investing that. But I really feel like that's like less than half of you watching this. And again, you'll have already had that goal prior, if that's the case for you, but you might be investing this into something that you set out to achieve in some way. But others of you, you're kind of just like looking at your success being like, all right, I did it. So anyway, those two energies are coming out as well. And let's see what else we get for you, my group 4s. Okay. Ascension and take risk are coming out for you. So yeah, I do feel like for one, you are taking some sort of risk. The mountain goat here is related to the Capricorn energy of making it to the top and taking a risk to get to the top. So I do feel like for a lot of you, you are kind of climbing a big mountain this year, climbing to a big goal, climbing to a higher height. It might require you feeling like you are taking some sort of risk, but in the end, you know that it has this like great potential, and it has the potential to really ascend you to the next level in all aspects, financially and in career. Ascension is also making me feel like ascending to a more well-known place or to a higher height. So again, like things like promotions, things like climbing the ladder, just getting to a higher height in general. And let's see what else we get here for you. Finances and career for my group 4s. Oh, I feel these two. Health and wisdom are coming out. So for one, education and learning is going to be hugely important for you this year, or at least sharing your wisdom, even teaching your wisdom. Health, I also feel like is coming up. When we talk about health, for one, I'm hearing financial health. So this is going to be a prosperous year for you of feeling quite healthy in that area. And if you don't yet, you're going to be at least creating that. I'm also seeing health in terms of like your work-life balance, kind of taking your health into more consideration when it comes to how far you push yourself, how much you're willing to take on, leading a more healthy kind of balanced life in those ways. And let's see what else we get. My group 4 is more about your 2025 career and finances. Let's see. All right, let's see what these are. So we also have unapologetic and confidence. So a couple more things that are coming through. I feel like your personality, you're really shining it more this year. So be yourself, releasing societal expectations, be a mess. Okay, for one, I don't necessarily see you being a mess, but what I do see is you feeling like the confidence to truly be yourself, to let yourself be liberated and shine in a larger way than you've ever let yourself do before. Some of you, I'm seeing that creatively, perhaps you've had like a mess of a workstation, but that might happen sometimes when you get really inspired. So that message is randomly coming through that it's okay, because if the inspiration is flowing, then it's flowing. It's like, okay, let's let it be a mess sometimes, because if the inspiration is flowing, it's flowing. But yes, also just being yourself. So that's really coming out this year, is this confidence to be you. So take up space, love yourself, be you, you are worthy. So all of those energies are really coming through palpably for you this year, is like being confident, rising up, being confident to take on the next level. Some of you, I'm hearing that there might have been some insecurities previously around going to a higher position or gaining more recognition, taking on higher, greater, bigger opportunities. Might have seemed scary to you at some point. Might have seemed like, oh, am I really ready for that? Am I really worthy of that? But I feel like the learning that you have been integrating, the things that you have been doing, you're rising to such a leadership position this year that this is going to be natural now for you to take on these higher projects, these higher opportunities, these bigger things. You're going to have the confidence to do so, and you're going to have the wisdom to integrate there as well. And so this is time for you to just be you. And if any of you have ever gotten like criticism from other people before, this is time to just be you. This is time to integrate your wisdom and realize that you are totally worthy of this. Otherwise, the opportunity would have never happened for you. And the thing is it is happening for you. So this is really your year as well, where Spirit is saying, be unapologetic, be yourself. Like, you don't need to apologize to anyone for your success, okay? If people are jealous of that, or if they're like, oh, well, you just got lucky, da-da-da-da. It's like, no, you did work for it. I'm seeing in here, like, you have worked for what you got. So be confident, release societal expectations, because sometimes people project their own, wish-wash. This is time to just be you. Take up space. It is okay to take up space. And it is happening for you because you deserve it. You are worthy of it. Love yourself. You deserve this. Like, I really feel like you're overcoming old limitations that maybe were like, ooh, am I really ready to take that on? Or, oh my God, that's like a big thing. And like, no, you're ready. This is it. It's happening. These new opportunities are coming into your life because specifically you are ready for them. So with that being said, I'm going to restart my camera really quick, and then we're going to get into our last oracle deck. All right, my group number 4 is, let's see. Any last messages for you, my group 4s? Okay, we have a couple, but let's get a little bit more here. And let's see what we have. So we have, you're in the thick of it. So you're in the thick of it right now, where a lot of things are culminating, where a lot of things are happening this year. We also have bend, but do not break. So be flexible, but do not let things break you. Do not let things hold you back, especially when it comes to persevering through the hard work that you might be putting in, persevering through the challenging times. Bend, but do not break. Let's be flexible, but do not break, because you are getting to higher heights this year. You're getting to such amazing success and progress. We also have the card, I am in charge of my own happiness. Then we also have, what are you grateful for today? When we count the things that we are grateful for, it has such benefit on our psyche. It has such benefit on our energetic frequency and vibration, which helps us get in alignment with manifesting more, because the energy that you emit is also the energy that gets reflected back to you. That's how manifestation works, right? So when you count what you're grateful for right now that you already have, the energy of gratitude is the energy of receiving. Anytime we feel gratitude, it's because we feel like we've received something. We're noticing what we've accomplished. We notice what we've received. So when you can count what you're grateful for and feel what you're grateful for, you get in alignment with the energy of receiving, which allows you to call in more. It's reflecting to the universe like, oh, I'm grateful, I'm in the energy of receiving. Then that gets reflected back to you, more of the receiving energy. So what are you grateful for today? Count your blessings. Stay in the energy of gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude of success. Gratitude is the attitude of success. And I feel like this is a reflection of what your year is going to be for you, is this attitude of gratitude, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of amazing things that are going to be flowing into your life. And the more that you can hold on to that energy of gratitude, the more that's going to become available for you, the more that you're in the energy of confidence, the more that you are in the energy of abundance and ascension, going to higher heights and really believing in yourself. This is all the energy that's taking you to the next level of your career and of your finances. So it looks like things are going to be really expanding for you. It looks like things are going to be really abundant this year for you, especially by the end of the year. Like, wow. I'm really hearing that, like, yeah, for a lot of you, it's just like by the end of the year, you're going to be looking at your success being like, whoo, look at what I've accomplished this year, because I do think it's going to be broader than the previous years. It is going to be bigger than what you've done previously. So that is what we have here. My beautiful group number 4s, thank you so much for joining me here for today's video all about your career and finances. If you're curious about the other aspects of 2024, such as your love life, or 2025. If you're curious about your 2025 love life or 2025 general prediction, those videos are going to be on here as well. So definitely subscribe and stick around for those. And I'm sending you all so much love. And until next time, bye.